In the grim darkness of the far future, where the galaxy is consumed by endless war, few can claim to truly embody the purity and resilience of humanity's enduring spirit. The Grey Knights, an enigmatic brotherhood of warriors, stand apart as the Imperium of man's ultimate weapon against the vile forces of the warp. Clad in resplendent silver armor and armed with psi-infused weaponry, these warrior monks are more than mere space marines. They are a bastion of incorruptibility in a universe teeming with chaos. But what truly defines the Grey Knights, and what is their ultimate mission? To understand the Grey Knights' purpose is to delve into the Imperium's darkest secrets and to confront truths so harrowing that few dare to speak them aloud. Their primary mission is a sacred one: to combat the insidious spread of chaos and to safeguard the Emperor's vision of a humanity free from the clutches of demonic corruption. Unlike other chapters of the Adeptus Astartes, their battlefield is not limited to the material realm. They are specialists in psychic warfare, walking a perilous path that brings them into constant contact with the Immaterium. Yet, unlike many who tread this line, the Grey Knights emerge untainted, their purity a testament to their rigorous training, their psychic might, and the Emperor's divine protection. Born in secrecy during the tumultuous Horus heresy, the Grey Knights' founding is steeped in mystery, with their genesis tied to the Emperor himself and his most trusted confidants. While the Adeptus Astartes wage war across countless star systems, the Grey Knights operate in the shadows, their deeds often erased from history to protect the fragile morale of the Imperium's citizens. They do not fight for glory or recognition. Their victories are silent, their sacrifices unrecorded. They exist solely to preserve humanity's soul from the predations of chaos. But their mission goes beyond mere defense. The Grey Knights are proactive in their pursuit of the ruinous powers, employing ancient rituals, forbidden lore, and their formidable psychic abilities to destroy demons and chaos incursions at their source. They hunt not only demonic entities, but also mortals whose actions risk breaching the veil between the material and the warp. Whether it is obliterating a demon prince, sealing a warp rift, or purging a cult before it can summon a host of horrors, the Grey Knights' interventions are surgical and absolute. This unyielding commitment to purity and secrecy, however, is not without cost. To protect the Imperium, the Grey Knights have made choices that would be unthinkable to most others. They are often forced to annihilate entire populations exposed to chaos to ensure no trace of corruption remains. These grim acts of extermination are not born of cruelty, but of a necessity born from understanding the true, devastating power of chaos. In this exploration, we will uncover the essence of the Grey Knights' mission. We will examine the figures who shaped their destiny, the circumstances that led to their creation, the pivotal moments in their history, and the extraordinary tools and tactics they wield. Along the way, we'll unravel the mysteries that shroud this secretive chapter and confront the moral dilemmas that define their existence. From their rigorous selection process to their psychic and martial supremacy, from the grand strategies they employ to their solitary acts of heroism, every aspect of their mission underscores a singular truth. The Grey Knights are the Imperium's last line of defense, an eternal bulwark against the darkness. Thus begins our journey into the heart of the Grey Knights' purpose. What is the main mission of these incorruptible warriors, and how do their actions shape the fate of the Imperium? To answer these questions, we must start at the beginning and understand the individuals and factions that brought them into existence, a tale of sacrifice, secrecy, and unswerving faith. The origins of the Grey Knights are steeped in layers of secrecy, carefully preserved to ensure the Imperium's survival. Their inception came during one of humanity's darkest hours, the Horus heresy. As the galaxy burned in the fires of civil war, and as legions of once loyal warriors turned against the Emperor to embrace the corrupting allure of chaos, a dire need arose for a force unlike any other. This force had to be more than just warriors. It had to be incorruptible, capable of facing not only the physical horrors of war, but also the insidious demonic threats that could warp even the staunchest defenders of humanity. The Grey Knights were envisioned as a solution to a problem that had plagued humanity since the dawn of its contact with the warp. Chaos was not simply a foe that could be vanquished in battle. It was a cancer that infected the mind and spirit, spreading its tendrils through fear, ambition, and despair. No matter how many battles were won by the Imperium's armies, the specter of chaos would always remain, festering in the shadows and awaiting its moment to strike. To combat this, a unique chapter of warriors was required, individuals who would not falter in the face of the warp's temptations, who would remain steadfast even when faced with horrors beyond mortal comprehension. The creation of the Grey Knights was not undertaken lightly. In the aftermath of the heresy's early stages, a secretive council of the Emperor's most trusted allies convened to discuss the rising threat posed by demons and the necessity of a specialized force. They understood that no ordinary soldier could fulfill this role. Even the most seasoned veterans were vulnerable to the corrupting influence of the warp. Thus, the council sought individuals of unparalleled strength of will, men whose psyches could endure the unrelenting pressure of chaos and emerge unbroken. These individuals were subjected to trials of unimaginable difficulty, both physical and mental. They were trained not only in the arts of war, but also in the arcane practices of psychic warfare. Their very minds were fortified against intrusion, their souls tempered to resist even the most seductive whispers of the warp. Over time, these recruits underwent genetic enhancement and psychic conditioning, transforming them into the unparalleled warriors that would become the first Grey Knights. The purpose of the Grey Knights extended far beyond the immediate battles of the heresy. Their mission was designed with eternity in mind, a perpetual guardianship of the Imperium against the endless tide of chaos. They were not created to win glory or claim worlds for the Emperor. Instead, they were tasked with the silent, thankless duty of defending humanity's soul. To this end, the chapter was cloaked in secrecy from its inception. Even within the Imperium, few knew of their existence and fewer still understood the full scope of their operations. What truly set the Grey Knights apart from other forces of the Imperium was their psychic prowess. Each member was a potent psyker, their abilities honed not only for combat, but also for the purification and containment of demonic entities. This unique combination of martial and psychic skill made them the ideal agents for confronting chaos in all its forms. Their armory was equally exceptional, filled with artifacts and weapons of ancient design, blessed to strike true against the immaterial foes they faced. From their earliest days, the Grey Knights operated with an independence rarely granted to any other chapter. Their remit was simple but all-encompassing: to confront chaos wherever it appeared and to eliminate it with ruthless efficiency. This mandate allowed them to act without the constraints of bureaucracy or political interference, ensuring that their focus remained unshakably fixed on their mission. They were given access to resources beyond the reach of most imperial institutions, from ancient tomes of forbidden knowledge to rare materials required for their advanced weaponry. The Grey Knights' methods were forged in the fires of necessity. They understood that to fight chaos, one must be willing to make sacrifices that others would find unthinkable. From the outset, they embraced this grim reality, knowing that their actions, while horrifying to some, were essential to the survival of humanity. Entire worlds were razed to ensure no trace of demonic corruption remained. These decisions were not made lightly, but with the cold precision of warriors who bore the weight of the Imperium's survival on their shoulders. In their secrecy and singularity of purpose, the Grey Knights became a force apart, unbound by the constraints that governed other military forces. This isolation, however, was not born of arrogance. It was a necessary measure to protect the Imperium from the knowledge of the horrors they confronted. The truth of chaos, its pervasive influence and unimaginable power, was a burden too great for most minds to bear. Thus, the Grey Knights became both warriors and keepers of the Imperium's darkest secrets, their existence a quiet testament to the lengths humanity must go to preserve its future. As the fires of the Horus heresy subsided, the Grey Knights were left to fulfill the purpose for which they were created. From their hidden fortress on Titan, they launched their campaigns against chaos, striking swiftly and decisively wherever the threat arose. Their origins, veiled in mystery, became the foundation for a legacy of silent vigilance. They were not merely defenders of the Imperium. They were its shield against the darkness, a bulwark against the tide of corruption that threatened to consume all. The creation of the Grey Knights was not a decision born from ambition or desire for dominance. It was a desperate response to a crisis that threatened to annihilate not only the Emperor's dream, but the very survival of humanity itself. The Horus heresy had plunged the galaxy into chaos, pitting brother against brother, and tearing apart the fragile unity that had been forged during the Great Crusade. Amid this catastrophic conflict, a new and far more insidious threat revealed itself: the power of chaos in its most unrestrained and horrifying form. Before the heresy, the warp had been a poorly understood phenomenon. While it served as a means of faster-than-light travel and a source of psychic abilities, its true nature had remained obscured. Few in the Imperium comprehended the existence of chaos gods or the legions of demons that dwelled within the Immaterium. Even among the Emperor's closest allies, the full extent of the warp's danger was only beginning to be revealed. The events of the heresy shattered this ignorance. When Horus and his allies turned against the Emperor, they did so with the backing of the Chaos Gods, whose influence spread like a malignant disease throughout the galaxy. The betrayal of once loyal legions had consequences far beyond physical destruction. The corruption of chaos was insidious, infecting not just individuals, but entire worlds and star systems. On countless planets, cults devoted to the ruinous powers emerged, sowing discord and summoning demonic entities that ravaged populations. Even the most disciplined and faithful warriors were not immune to the warp's temptations. The sheer scale of this corruption made it clear that conventional military forces, no matter how vast, were ill-equipped to counter such an unprecedented threat. The Emperor recognized this danger long before most others. He understood that chaos was not merely an external foe, but a pervasive force capable of infiltrating the minds and souls of humanity's defenders. While the traitorous forces waged open war against the Imperium, the Emperor began laying the groundwork for a secret weapon to combat this unseen enemy. He needed a force that could not only resist the temptations of chaos, but actively destroy its agents, both physical and spiritual, wherever they arose. This realization coincided with the emergence of a critical insight into the nature of chaos. Its power could only take root where it found weakness. Fear, ambition, greed, and despair were the pathways through which the ruinous powers exerted their influence. Thus, the warriors tasked with opposing chaos would need to embody the antithesis of these traits. They had to be fearless, selfless, and incorruptible, with minds fortified against the horrors they would face. The Emperor's vision required not just strength, but purity, a quality that was vanishingly rare in a galaxy engulfed by turmoil. During this time, a secretive assembly of the Emperor's most trusted allies convened to address the escalating threat of chaos. This group included powerful psychers, high-ranking military leaders, and individuals with access to forbidden knowledge of the warp. Together, they began to conceptualize the foundations of what would become the Grey Knights. These discussions were conducted in utmost secrecy, for the stakes were too high to risk even the slightest leak of information. The knowledge of chaos itself was a weapon that could be turned against the Imperium if it fell into the wrong hands. The heresy provided a brutal proving ground for the theories and strategies that would underpin the Grey Knights' creation. The Loyalists witnessed firsthand the devastating consequences of warp corruption, from the mass possession of entire armies to the emergence of demonic entities on the battlefield. In response, they began to experiment with new methods of combating these threats. Psychers were trained to channel their abilities in ways that could counteract demonic influence. Ancient relics and arcane technologies were uncovered, tested, and refined for use against the Immaterium's denizens. These early efforts laid the groundwork for the specialized arsenal that would later define the Grey Knights. Perhaps the most critical lesson learned during this period was the necessity of secrecy. Chaos thrived on fear and knowledge, and even the mere awareness of its existence could sow seeds of corruption. The forces that would eventually form the Grey Knights operated in the shadows, erasing their presence from records and silencing any who might inadvertently spread awareness of their mission. This policy of absolute discretion became a cornerstone of their doctrine, ensuring that their work could continue unimpeded by the fear and superstition of the wider Imperium. The Emperor's vision for the Grey Knights extended beyond the immediate crisis of the heresy. He understood that chaos was not a temporary threat, but an eternal one, woven into the very fabric of the universe. The heresy had merely revealed the true extent of its power, but the ruinous powers had existed long before humanity's rise, and they would persist long after the heresy's conclusion. To counter this, the Emperor sought to create not just a military force, but an enduring institution, one that could adapt and persist across millennia. The trials that forged the first Grey Knights were as rigorous as they were unrelenting. Candidates were subjected to physical and psychic challenges that would have broken even the strongest warriors. Those who survived were further tempered through genetic augmentation and psychic conditioning, ensuring that they were not only physically superior, but also mentally unassailable. Their training encompassed not only combat, but also the esoteric knowledge required to understand and counteract the warp's influence. This combination of traits made them uniquely suited to their role as humanity's ultimate bulwark against chaos. The creation of the Grey Knights marked a turning point in humanity's struggle against the ruinous powers. For the first time, the Imperium possessed a force specifically designed to confront the warp on its own terms. These warriors were not mere soldiers. They were the embodiment of the Emperor's will, wielding both martial and psychic power in service of a singular mission. Their genesis was a direct response to the horrors unleashed by the heresy, but their purpose transcended the immediate crisis. They were humanity's eternal guardians, forged in the crucible of the Imperium's darkest hour to stand watch over its future. The development of the Grey Knights unfolded over centuries, shaped by necessity, secrecy, and the constant evolution of the threats they were created to combat. From their inception during the Horus Heresy to their establishment as the Imperium's most secretive and elite chapter, their journey has been marked by defining moments that solidified their role as humanity's ultimate defense against chaos. Each stage of their evolution reflected the changing nature of the war against the ruinous powers and the unique challenges posed by the Immaterium. The earliest days of the Grey Knights were defined by the clandestine efforts of their founders. Operating in the shadows, this nascent brotherhood was forged on the foundations of secrecy and exclusivity. Their initial cadre of warriors, handpicked for their psychic potential and unwavering loyalty, were subjected to grueling training and rigorous testing to ensure their incorruptibility. The galaxy was in chaos, and their early missions were largely experimental, testing the effectiveness of their weapons, psychic powers, and combat doctrines. These first battles against chaos set the tone for what the Grey Knights would become, relentless and methodical in their pursuit of purity and victory. Their first great leap forward came with the establishment of their fortress monastery on Titan. This moon, shrouded in warp storms and isolated from the prying eyes of the wider Imperium, became the perfect stronghold for their operations. The construction of this fortress was itself a monumental task, requiring the cooperation of the Imperium's most advanced techno-mystics and the careful transportation of ancient relics and arcane tomes. Titan was more than a headquarters. It was a repository of forbidden knowledge, a bastion of purity, and a training ground where new recruits would undergo the trials to join the Brotherhood. Over time, Titan's vaults became home to one of the most extensive collections of lore on chaos and the warp in existence. These records, gathered from millennia of battles and research, provided the Grey Knights with invaluable insights into the nature of their enemy. From the weaknesses of specific demons to the intricacies of closing warp rifts, this knowledge allowed the chapter to refine their methods and adapt to an ever-changing threat. However, the secrecy of their mission dictated that much of this knowledge could never be shared, even with other Imperial institutions. As the Grey Knights grew in strength and experience, they formalized their structure and rituals. Unlike other chapters of the Adeptus Astartes, their ranks were divided not only by martial skill, but also by psychic ability. Every Grey Knight was a psyker, but their powers varied in strength and focus, leading to the establishment of distinct roles within the chapter. Some specialized in battlefield combat, wielding force weapons and psychic abilities to devastate their enemies. Others became librarians, delving deeper into the arcane arts to uncover new ways to combat chaos. Each role was critical to the chapter's success, ensuring that they could respond to any threat with precision and adaptability. The codification of their doctrines also marked a significant milestone in their evolution. These doctrines, often referred to as the Libra Daemonica, were sacred texts that outlined the principles guiding their actions. They detailed everything from combat tactics to the proper methods for exorcising demons and purifying corrupted artifacts. These texts were not static, but living documents, updated and expanded as the chapter gained new insights into the nature of chaos. Over time, they became the spiritual and strategic backbone of the Grey Knights, a source of guidance in even the darkest of times. One of the most critical stages of their development was the refinement of their recruitment process. The Grey Knights' mandate for incorruptibility meant that only the most exceptional individuals could join their ranks. Potential recruits were drawn from across the galaxy, often identified as children due to their latent psychic abilities. These candidates were subjected to the most rigorous tests imaginable, designed to root out even the slightest hint of weakness or susceptibility to corruption. Those who passed were then transported to Titan, where they underwent years of training, conditioning, and augmentation to transform them into the ultimate warriors. With their structure and methods firmly established, the Grey Knights began to expand their operations, responding to chaos incursions across the galaxy. Their missions ranged from large-scale purges of demonic infestations to surgical strikes against cult leaders and rogue psychers. Despite their growing influence, they remained a secretive force, erasing all traces of their involvement to maintain the Imperium's fragile morale. The populations they saved often never knew who their saviors were, and those who did were often silenced to protect the chapter's secrecy. Throughout their history, the Grey Knights faced numerous pivotal challenges that further shaped their evolution. These included encounters with immensely powerful demonic entities and moments when the line between victory and annihilation was razor-thin. In these crucibles of conflict, the chapter honed their strategies and developed new technologies to counter the ever-growing threats of chaos. From the creation of psychic wards to the sanctification of their armor and weapons, each advancement was born of necessity and a relentless drive to improve. As their legacy grew, so too did the myths and legends surrounding them. Stories of their deeds, though often suppressed, occasionally surfaced, inspiring awe and fear in equal measure. Among the most revered tales were those of battles where a single squad of Grey Knights turned the tide of entire wars, banishing demons of unimaginable power and sealing warp rifts that threatened to engulf entire systems. These legends, though shrouded in mystery, served as a testament to the chapter's unparalleled skill and dedication. The Grey Knights' evolution was not without sacrifice. To maintain their secrecy and effectiveness, they often made decisions that others in the Imperium would find unthinkable. Worlds were purged, entire populations were eradicated, and countless lives were lost to ensure that the taint of chaos could not spread. These actions, while necessary, left a profound mark on the chapter, reinforcing their sense of isolation and the weight of their duty. Over millennia, the Grey Knights became not only a chapter, but an institution, a cornerstone of the Imperium's defense against chaos. Their development was a constant process, driven by the need to adapt to an ever-changing galaxy. Each stage of their evolution, from their founding to their rise as the Imperium's ultimate demon hunters, was marked by a singular purpose: to stand as humanity's unyielding shield against the darkness, no matter the cost. One of the most defining moments in the history of the Grey Knights occurred during the First War for Armageddon, a conflict that tested their resolve, secrecy, and effectiveness against an overwhelming foe. This campaign not only showcased their unique capabilities, but also illustrated the weight of their duty and the lengths they would go to ensure the Imperium's survival, even when it came at an unimaginable cost. Armageddon, a hive world of immense strategic importance, became the stage for one of the most devastating chaos incursions in the Imperium's history. The planet was plunged into chaos when a massive warp rift tore open above its surface, allowing the forces of chaos to spill forth, led by the demon prince Angron, one of the most formidable beings of the Immaterium. Angron's arrival was not merely an invasion, but a full-scale demonic incursion, as legions of Kornata demons flooded the planet, overwhelming the defenders with an unrelenting tide of blood and fury. The Grey Knights were summoned to confront this unparalleled threat, their mission clear: to banish Angron and close the warp rift before the entire sector fell to chaos. Unlike other Imperial forces, the Grey Knights understood the true magnitude of the situation. Angron's presence was not just a physical threat, but a psychic and spiritual one, his very existence eroding the barriers between the material universe and the warp. If left unchecked, his influence could corrupt not only Armageddon, but countless other worlds in the region. Arriving on the battlefield, the Grey Knights quickly assessed the dire situation. The planet's surface was a hellscape of destruction, with rivers of blood flowing through shattered cities and skies filled with the unearthly howls of demonic entities. The defenders, including the Imperial Guard and various Space Marine chapters, were barely holding the line, their efforts often undermined by the corrupting influence of the warp. The Grey Knights knew that conventional tactics would not suffice. To defeat Angron and his demonic horde, they would need to strike at the heart of the incursion. Led by their Grand Master, the Grey Knights deployed with surgical precision, their forces split into squads to address multiple objectives. While some squads worked to stem the tide of demons and secure critical defensive positions, the most elite warriors pressed toward the center of the warp rift, where Angron himself was wreaking havoc. The battle against the Demon Prince was one of unimaginable intensity, a clash of wills and powers that defied comprehension. Angron, an ancient being of unparalleled strength and rage, seemed unstoppable, his blows capable of shattering entire squads of even the most seasoned warriors. Despite the odds, the Grey Knights persisted, their psychic abilities and sacred weaponry allowing them to inflict wounds on the seemingly invulnerable Demon Prince. Their unyielding faith in the Emperor and their own purity shielded them from the worst of Angron's corrupting influence, allowing them to resist the despair and madness that he radiated. The climax of the battle came when the Grand Master, wielding a blade infused with the Emperor's blessing, led a final assault against Angron. In a moment of unparalleled sacrifice, he delivered a blow that banished the Demon Prince back to the warp, though at the cost of his own life and the lives of many of his brothers. With Angron defeated, the warp rift began to destabilize. The Grey Knights enacted ancient and forbidden rituals to seal it, cutting off the flow of demonic reinforcements and halting the spread of chaos across the planet. Their mission was a success, but the victory came at an immense cost. Thousands of Imperial soldiers lay dead, entire cities were reduced to rubble, and the planet itself was scarred in ways that would take centuries to repair. Yet the Grey Knights' work was not finished. The presence of chaos on Armageddon had left a lasting taint, one that could not be allowed to fester. The Grey Knights, in keeping with their doctrine, determined that the only way to ensure the planet's purity was to purge all those who had come into contact with chaos. This decision, though horrific, was deemed necessary to prevent the spread of corruption. Millions of civilians, guardsmen, and even loyal space marines were executed, their sacrifice ensuring that chaos would gain no foothold in the aftermath of the battle. The First War for Armageddon was a turning point for the Grey Knights, cementing their reputation as the Imperium's ultimate defenders against chaos. It demonstrated not only their unparalleled effectiveness, but also the harsh realities of their mission. The decisions they made, the sacrifices they demanded, and the secrecy they maintained all underscored the unique burden they carried. Their deeds on Armageddon would remain largely unknown, their victory uncelebrated, yet their actions ensured the survival of the Imperium in the face of one of its greatest threats. This event became a symbol of what it meant to be a Grey Knight, the willingness to bear the weight of humanity's darkest truths, to make unthinkable choices for the greater good, and to stand unflinching against the horrors of the warp. For the Grey Knights, the First War for Armageddon was not just a battle, but a testament to their unbreakable resolve, their purity of purpose, and their unshakable commitment to their mission, no matter the cost. The impact of the Grey Knights on the Warhammer 40K universe is both profound and paradoxical. Operating in the shadows, their influence often goes unnoticed by the vast majority of the Imperium's citizens. Yet, their actions have been instrumental in shaping the galaxy's fate, standing as a bulwark against the insidious spread of chaos. Their victories, though unsung, ripple across time and space, safeguarding humanity from threats that could unravel its tenuous grasp on survival. At the core of their influence is their unyielding role as the Imperium's final line of defense against chaos. By intercepting demonic incursions before they can spiral out of control, the Grey Knights prevent countless potential disasters. Without their interventions, many planets would have fallen to the ruinous powers, their populations corrupted or consumed, and their worlds transformed into nightmarish, warp-tainted wastelands. These silent victories are rarely acknowledged, but form the backbone of the Imperium's ongoing struggle to endure in a hostile galaxy. Their existence also imposes a significant influence on the Imperium's military strategy. The Grey Knights operate autonomously, answering only to the Inquisition and exempt from the usual chains of command. This independence allows them to act decisively, bypassing bureaucratic delays and political interference. However, it also means that their actions can have far-reaching consequences for other Imperial forces. Entire regiments of the Astra Militarum have been wiped out to ensure no survivors remain who might spread knowledge of chaos. This ruthless pragmatism, while essential to their mission, often creates friction with other branches of the Imperium's war machine. The Grey Knights' operations also directly impact the Inquisition, particularly its Ordo Malleus. This specialized branch relies heavily on the Grey Knights to execute its most dangerous missions, from exterminating demonic cults to sealing warp breaches. The symbiotic relationship between the Ordo Malleus and the Grey Knights has elevated the Inquisition's ability to combat chaos, but it has also deepened the secrecy and paranoia that define the organization. Knowledge of the Grey Knights is restricted to the highest echelons of the Inquisition, reinforcing the idea that the fight against chaos is a war of shadows, fought on battlefields most will never see. Beyond their immediate role in combating chaos, the Grey Knights' very existence serves as a beacon of hope, albeit one known only to a select few. Among those aware of them, the Grey Knights are seen as living proof that humanity can stand against the warp's corruption. Their incorruptibility is a powerful symbol, inspiring faith and resolve in those who fight alongside them. To those who understand the horrors of the Immaterium, the Grey Knights represent the Emperor's will made manifest, a testament to the possibility of victory against the ruinous powers. However, their influence is not without its darker aspects. The Grey Knights' strict adherence to secrecy and their willingness to make extreme sacrifices often lead to moral and ethical dilemmas. Their purges of entire worlds, while necessary to prevent chaos from spreading, leave scars that resonate across the galaxy. Survivors and witnesses, if any are allowed to remain, may question the justice of an Imperium that destroys its own to save itself. These actions, though pragmatic, contribute to the Imperium's reputation as a harsh and unforgiving regime, perpetuating cycles of fear and suppression. The Grey Knight's technological and psychic advancements have also had a broader impact on the Imperium. Their use of sanctified weaponry, psychic wards, and warp-resistant materials has influenced the development of similar tools across other branches of the Imperium's military. While much of their arsenal remains unique to the chapter, some of their innovations have been adapted for use by the Inquisition, the Adeptus Mechanicus, and even certain Space Marine chapters. These advancements, though limited in distribution, enhance the Imperium's overall ability to counter the Warp's influence. On a larger scale, the Grey Knights play a critical role in maintaining the balance of power within the galaxy. By curbing the influence of chaos, they prevent the ruinous powers from achieving dominance. This preservation of equilibrium indirectly benefits other factions, including Xenos races like the Eldar and the Tau, who also have a vested interest in containing chaos. While the Grey Knights operate solely in the service of the Imperium, their actions inadvertently shape the fate of the galaxy as a whole, acting as a stabilizing force in a universe teetering on the brink of annihilation. One of the more enigmatic aspects of their influence lies in the realms of prophecy and the immaterium. The Grey Knights are uniquely equipped to interpret and respond to psychic phenomena, often acting on warnings from the Emperor or visions granted by their own librarians. These preemptive strikes allow them to thwart chaos incursions before they fully materialize, averting potential disasters that might otherwise reshape the galaxy's political and spiritual landscape. Their ability to navigate these intangible realms gives them a subtle but profound influence on the course of history, ensuring that certain events unfold, or do not unfold, as they must. In many ways, the Grey Knights are both a strength and a burden to the Imperium. Their unparalleled effectiveness in combating chaos is matched by the cost of their methods, both in lives and in trust. Their secrecy, while necessary, isolates them from the rest of humanity, creating a gulf that even their closest allies can rarely bridge. Yet, this isolation is a reflection of their unique purpose. The Grey Knights are not meant to be understood or celebrated. They are a silent shield, protecting the Imperium not for glory or recognition, but because it is their duty. Ultimately, the Grey Knights' impact on the galaxy is defined by the paradox of their existence. They are warriors of light who operate in darkness, champions of humanity who remain apart from it. Their influence is felt in the survival of worlds, the preservation of the Emperor's vision, and the enduring resistance against chaos. Though their deeds remain hidden, their legacy is woven into the very fabric of the Imperium, ensuring that even in the face of unimaginable horrors, humanity can endure. The Grey Knights are a chapter apart, distinguished not just by their mission, but by the unique combination of traits, equipment, and training that set them above and beyond all other forces in the Imperium. Their very existence is a culmination of the Imperium's most advanced knowledge, psychic power, and martial discipline, forged into a weapon that embodies the Emperor's unyielding will. Each aspect of their design and operation is carefully calibrated to make them the ultimate warriors against chaos, unmatched in their purity, resilience, and effectiveness. The foundation of the Grey Knights' uniqueness lies in their selection process. Unlike other chapters, where recruits are chosen based primarily on physical prowess and combat potential, Grey Knights are selected for their psychic ability and incorruptible spirit. These candidates are drawn from the most exceptional psychers across the Imperium, often identified as children with extraordinary potential. However, even this elite pool is subjected to the most grueling trials imaginable. Each recruit must demonstrate not only immense psychic power, but also an unbreakable will, capable of withstanding the temptations and terrors of the warp. Only those who pass these tests are allowed to join, making their ranks the most exclusive and refined among all Space Marines. Once accepted, recruits undergo a transformation that elevates them far beyond their already exceptional origins. In addition to the standard gene seed enhancements that all Astartes receive, Grey Knights are subjected to unique rituals and psychic conditioning. Their minds are shielded by arcane wards and reinforced through intense meditation, granting them an unparalleled resistance to the corrupting influence of chaos. This conditioning is so effective that no Grey Knight has ever fallen to the ruinous powers, a feat unmatched by any other Imperial institution. Their psychic abilities are another defining aspect. Every Grey Knight is a psyker, a rarity in the Imperium where even one psyker in a military force is considered exceptional. These abilities are not just ancillary skills, but integral to their combat doctrine. On the battlefield, they wield their psychic powers with precision, channeling them into devastating attacks, protective barriers, and cleansing flames that burn away demonic corruption. Their psychic presence is also a weapon in itself, radiating a purity that can weaken or banish demons merely by proximity. The armor and weaponry of the Grey Knights are masterpieces of sanctified craftsmanship, designed to complement their unique abilities. Their iconic Terminator armor is not only a marvel of engineering, but also a spiritual safeguard, inscribed with litanies of protection and wards against the warp. Each suit is custom-fitted to its wearer, enhancing their psychic connection and amplifying their powers. Their weapons, from force halberds to nemesis demon hammers, are similarly blessed, forged to cut through the essence of demons with every strike. Even their ammunition, such as the psychically charged bolts fired by their storm bolters, is crafted with the sole purpose of combating chaos. Beyond their individual equipment, the Grey Knights employ advanced relics and technologies that are unavailable to other Imperial forces. Among these are psycannons, which unleash volleys of warp-dispersing energy, and warding staves, which bolster their defenses against psychic attacks. They also make use of sacred artifacts, such as the Aegis Array, a series of psychic amplifiers woven into their armor that enhances their ability to resist and repel demonic influence. These tools are the product of millennia of research and craftsmanship, representing the pinnacle of the Imperium's technological and mystical knowledge. Their tactics are as unique as their equipment, honed over countless battles against the Immaterium's horrors. The Grey Knights operate with precision and adaptability, tailoring their strategies to the specific threat at hand. Against a demonic incursion, they might deploy in small, highly specialized squads, each tasked with a critical objective, such as sealing a warp rift or banishing a demon prince. Their coordination is flawless, with every member acting in perfect harmony to maximize their effectiveness. This ability to adapt and specialize allows them to confront foes that would overwhelm even the most formidable Space Marine chapters. The spiritual purity of the Grey Knights is perhaps their most unique trait. Unlike other forces that rely on sheer strength or firepower, the Grey Knights draw their greatest strength from their incorruptibility. This purity is not merely symbolic, but a tangible force that disrupts the power of chaos. Demons which feed on fear, despair, and corruption find themselves weakened in the presence of the Grey Knights, unable to corrupt or manipulate them. This immunity to the warp's influence is a cornerstone of their success, allowing them to engage with chaos on terms that no other force can match. Their training also sets them apart. Grey Knights undergo rigorous education in the arcane arts, learning the intricacies of the warp and the weaknesses of demons. This knowledge, forbidden to most in the Imperium, is critical to their effectiveness. They understand not only how to fight chaos, but also how to contain and neutralize it, employing rituals and exorcisms that cleanse tainted areas and banish demonic entities. This expertise makes them invaluable, not only as warriors, but also as scholars of the Immaterium, capable of addressing threats that others would not even recognize. Another unique aspect of the Grey Knights is their culture of secrecy and sacrifice. They operate outside the bounds of recognition, erasing all evidence of their involvement from history. This policy is not merely for their own protection, but to shield the wider Imperium from the truth of the horrors they confront. The psychological toll of this secrecy is immense, yet the Grey Knights bear it without complaint, knowing that their anonymity is a necessary part of their mission. Even their homeworld, Titan, reflects their uniqueness. Hidden within the warp, Titan serves as both a fortress monastery and a repository of forbidden knowledge. Its libraries and vaults contain records of every demonic incursion the Grey Knights have ever faced, along with ancient tomes and relics used to combat chaos. The planet itself is a testament to their mission, a place of purity and discipline that stands as a bulwark against the warp's encroachment. Ultimately, the Grey Knights are more than just warriors. They are the embodiment of the Emperor's enduring hope for humanity. Their unique aspects, from their psychic abilities to their incorruptibility, make them the Imperium's ultimate weapon against chaos. They are a chapter apart, defined not by the worlds they conquer, but by the demons they banish, the secrets they protect, and the sacrifices they make to ensure that humanity endures. The story of the Grey Knights is interwoven with the lives of extraordinary individuals whose vision, leadership, and sacrifices have defined the chapter's legacy. From its founding figures to its modern champions, these individuals embody the unyielding resolve required to safeguard humanity from the horrors of chaos. Their influence extends far beyond the battlefield, shaping the doctrine, philosophy, and mission of the Grey Knights across millennia. One of the most critical figures in the chapter's history is Malcador the Sigillite, the trusted advisor to the Emperor and the architect of countless pivotal decisions during humanity's darkest hours. Malcador's role in the formation of the Grey Knights cannot be overstated. Recognizing the growing threat of chaos during the Horus heresy, he was instrumental in assembling the group that would lay the groundwork for their creation. Malcador handpicked the first recruits, selecting individuals of exceptional psychic potential and unshakable loyalty. His foresight ensured that the Grey Knights would be more than just warriors. They would be paragons of purity, fortified against the corrupting influences of the warp. Malcador's influence extended to the chapter's structure and ethos. He understood that their mission would require secrecy and sacrifice on a scale unmatched by any other force in the Imperium. To that end, he established the foundation for their strict codes of conduct, their independence from the rest of the Adeptus Astartes, and their unwavering dedication to the Emperor's vision. Though Malcador perished during the final stages of the Horus heresy, his legacy lives on in the Grey Knights' unyielding commitment to their sacred duty. Another figure of immense importance is Janus, the first Supreme Grand Master of the Grey Knights. Janus was a towering figure in the chapter's early days, a warrior scholar whose mastery of the psychic arts and profound understanding of the warp made him uniquely suited to lead this fledgling force. Under his leadership, the Grey Knights solidified their identity as the Imperium's ultimate weapon against chaos. Janus was not only a battlefield commander, but also a spiritual guide, instilling in his brothers the discipline and resolve needed to confront the horrors of the Immaterium. Janus's contributions extended beyond his leadership. He was instrumental in codifying the chapter's sacred texts, including the Libra Daemonica, which serves as both a tactical manual and a spiritual guide for the Grey Knights. This text, inscribed with rituals, strategies, and litanies of protection, remains a cornerstone of their doctrine. Janus's vision ensured that the chapter would not merely survive, but thrive as a bastion of purity and strength in an age of darkness. In more recent times, the Grey Knights have been defined by the leadership of individuals like Kaldor Drago, the current Supreme Grand Master. Drago's story is one of both triumph and tragedy, a testament to the extraordinary lengths to which the Grey Knights are willing to go in their fight against chaos. Drago earned his place in history during a battle against the demon prince Makar the Reborn. In a feat of unparalleled skill and determination, Drago not only defeated the demon, but carved the name of a fallen Grandmaster into Makar's flesh, an act of defiance that reverberated through the Immaterium. However, this victory came at a cost. Drago was cursed by Makar and eventually drawn into the warp itself, where he continues to wage an unending war against the forces of chaos. Trapped in this nightmarish realm, Drago has become a living legend, a figure whose deeds defy comprehension. Despite his exile, he remains a symbol of the Grey Knight's indomitable spirit, fighting ceaselessly to protect the Imperium, even from within the heart of the enemy's domain. The chapter's librarians have also played a crucial role in its history, serving as both warriors and scholars. Figures like Brother Captain Stern exemplify the dual nature of their responsibilities. Stern, renowned for his psychic prowess and unshakable faith, has faced some of the most harrowing challenges in the chapter's history. His actions on countless battlefields have earned him a reputation as one of the Grey Knight's most formidable champions. Yet his humility and dedication to the chapter's mission remain unwavering. The Inquisition has also brought key individuals into the orbit of the Grey Knights. Inquisitors of the Ordo Malleus, such as Torquemada Koteas, have collaborated closely with the chapter, often calling upon them to combat the most dire threats. Koteas, known for his zealous dedication and strategic brilliance, has forged a unique partnership with the Grey Knights, leveraging their unparalleled expertise to eradicate chaos wherever it arises. While their relationship is not without tension, owing to the Inquisition's sometimes conflicting priorities, the collaboration between these two institutions has been instrumental in preserving the Imperium. Even within the ranks of the Grey Knights, unsung heroes abound. Each battle brother represents a story of sacrifice and resilience, their names often lost to history, but their deeds immortalized in the chapter's annals. The Justicar, a key rank within the chapter, exemplifies this tradition of quiet heroism. These warriors lead their squads with unwavering resolve, ensuring that each mission is carried out with precision and effectiveness. While their individual names may fade, their collective contributions form the backbone of the Grey Knight's enduring legacy. Lastly, the enigmatic chaplain Malvanus stands as a figure of spiritual strength within the chapter. Charged with maintaining the faith and morale of his brothers, Malvanus's sermons and litanies are said to inspire unbreakable resolve, even in the face of the warp's darkest terrors. His role underscores the importance of spiritual fortitude within the Grey Knights, reminding them of the Emperor's guiding light in their eternal war against chaos. Through these figures, the Grey Knight's legacy comes to life, a tapestry of courage, intellect, and faith woven together to form the Imperium's ultimate defense. From their founding visionaries to their modern-day champions, these individuals have shaped the chapter's identity and ensured its continued relevance in the endless struggle against the ruinous powers. Each name, whether remembered or forgotten, is a testament to the enduring power of the Emperor's will and the resilience of humanity's defenders. The Grey Knights are defined as much by their secrecy as by their actions. Their existence is a closely guarded secret, hidden even from many of the Imperium's highest-ranking officials. This veil of mystery is not just a tactical necessity, but a fundamental part of their mission. Chaos thrives on knowledge and fear, and the Grey Knights understand that exposing the truth of the demonic to the wider Imperium could sow panic, unrest, or worse, open the door to further corruption. This culture of secrecy has created an organization steeped in enigmas, its history and operations shrouded in layers of hidden truths and forbidden knowledge. One of the most closely guarded secrets of the Grey Knights lies in their origin. While their founding is attributed to a select group of the Emperor's most trusted allies, the full details of their creation remain obscured. The records of their genesis are stored deep within the vaults of Titan, accessible only to the Supreme Grand Master and a select few. Even within the chapter, these origins are spoken of in hushed tones, with many Grey Knights focusing solely on their mission rather than dwelling on the circumstances of their creation. Some theorize that the Emperor himself imparted secret knowledge to their founders, granting them insights into the warp and chaos that were never shared with the wider Imperium. The recruitment process of the Grey Knights is another closely guarded secret. Unlike other chapters of the Adeptus Astartes, their aspirants are drawn exclusively from psychers, individuals already marked by their connection to the warp. How these individuals are identified and selected is a mystery. It is rumored that the Grey Knight's librarians possess a unique ability to sense purity within the warp, allowing them to identify those rare psychers who can withstand the corrupting influence of chaos. What is certain is that the trials faced by these recruits are unmatched in their severity, with many aspirants perishing before they even reach Titan. The few who survive become the most exceptional warriors in the Imperium, their psyches and souls tempered by the chapter's secretive rituals. Titan itself is a world of secrets. Hidden within the warp and accessible only through specific rituals and coordinates known to the Grey Knights, it serves as both a fortress monastery and a repository of forbidden knowledge. Its libraries contain tomes and scrolls that detail the nature of chaos, demons, and the immaterium, information so dangerous that it is restricted to only the highest-ranking members of the chapter. These texts are not merely historical records, but also manuals for combating the warp, filled with rituals, sigils, and prayers designed to counteract demonic forces. To outsiders, the mere existence of such knowledge would be heretical, yet for the Grey Knights, it is a necessary tool in their eternal war. Perhaps the greatest secret of the Grey Knights is their incorruptibility. Unlike other forces of the Imperium, the Grey Knights have never suffered a single instance of one of their number falling to chaos. This unparalleled purity is not a mere accident, but the result of their rigorous selection process, psychic conditioning, and the mysterious rites performed during their induction. Some whisper that the Emperor himself blessed the Grey Knights, imbuing them with a fragment of his divine will. Others believe that the rituals conducted on Titan involve the invocation of powers and protections that go beyond the understanding of even the most learned inquisitors. Whatever the truth, it is a secret that the Grey Knights guard jealously, for their incorruptibility is both their greatest strength and their most significant vulnerability, if ever compromised. The chapter's relationship with the Inquisition, particularly the Ordo Malleus, is another area shrouded in secrecy. While the Grey Knights work closely with the Inquisition, their autonomy and independence create an air of mystery even among their allies. The extent of their collaboration and the true nature of their shared knowledge remain unclear. Inquisitors who work with the Grey Knights are bound to absolute silence, often erased from official records to ensure that their experiences cannot spread beyond their trusted circles. This secrecy has led to speculation and rumors, with some suggesting that the Grey Knights and the Inquisition share knowledge of ancient technologies and warp-born artifacts that could shift the balance of power in the Imperium if revealed. One of the most unsettling aspects of the Grey Knights' secrecy involves their post-battle protocols. After a chaos incursion is neutralized, the Grey Knights often enact extreme measures to ensure that no knowledge of their actions or the threat they confronted remains. Entire populations may be purged if they have been exposed to demonic influence, and all traces of the Grey Knights' involvement are erased from records. This brutal practice, while essential to maintaining the secrecy of their mission, has led to whispers of their existence among the Imperium's fringe. Survivors who speak of silver-armored warriors banishing demons are often dismissed as mad or executed for heresy. The Grey Knights' arsenal is another source of intrigue and speculation. Their weapons and armor, blessed and sanctified to combat the forces of chaos, are unique to the chapter. The methods used to create these tools are unknown, and even the Adeptus Mechanicus, with all its knowledge, is forbidden from studying them. Some believe that the Grey Knights possess forges and artificers on Titan capable of producing weapons infused with the Emperor's own light. Others suggest that their armaments are relics of an earlier age, predating even the Imperium, and preserved through means unknown. Finally, the Grey Knights themselves are living embodiments of secrecy. Each battle brother is trained not only to fight, but also to safeguard the chapter's mysteries. They are sworn to silence about their mission and their existence, even in the face of death. This code of silence extends to their interactions with other Imperial forces. When Grey Knights are deployed alongside the Astra Militarum or other Space Marines, their presence is often attributed to an unnamed elite force, their identity concealed to prevent even the hint of chaos from spreading. The Grey Knights' secrets are as much a part of their identity as their weapons and armor. These hidden truths protect not only the chapter but the Imperium itself, shielding humanity from knowledge that could undermine its fragile faith and resolve. Yet, these secrets also create an aura of mystery and isolation around the Grey Knights, ensuring that they remain an enigma even to those who rely on their strength. In a galaxy where knowledge is both a weapon and a curse, the Grey Knights walk the fine line between revelation and concealment, safeguarding the Imperium not only from chaos but also from itself. The story of the Grey Knights is a testament to humanity's unyielding resolve in the face of a galaxy consumed by darkness. Their legacy is not one of glory or conquest, but of sacrifice and vigilance. From their hidden fortress on Titan, they watch over the Imperium, responding to threats that most will never know existed. Their victories are silent, their sacrifices unacknowledged, yet without them, the Imperium's fragile existence would crumble under the relentless assault of chaos. As an institution, the Grey Knights embody the best and worst of what humanity can achieve. They are the pinnacle of purity and strength, forged through the Emperor's vision and the sacrifices of countless individuals. Yet, their mission demands a cost that few could bear. They live in isolation, cut off from the wider Imperium they protect, bound by secrecy that ensures their deeds remain unspoken. Their existence is one of constant war, where even a moment of failure could spell disaster for entire sectors of the galaxy. The future of the Grey Knights remains as uncertain as the Imperium itself. In an age where chaos grows ever bolder, where the immaterium spills into reality with increasing frequency, their role becomes even more critical. Yet, their resources are finite, their numbers small, and their mission unending. Every battle they fight chips away at their strength, every victory a reminder of the endless tide they face. They are not immune to the pressures of time and attrition, and the question of whether they can endure as they have for millennia is one that haunts even their most resolute leaders. And yet, the Grey Knights endure as they always have. Their story is not one of defeat or despair, but of resilience. They are the embodiment of humanity's refusal to surrender, standing as a shining beacon against the encroaching darkness. Through their actions, they preserve the fragile hope that the Emperor's vision for humanity can still prevail, that chaos can be held at bay, and that the Imperium, for all its flaws, is worth protecting. To the wider Imperium, the Grey Knights are a myth, a whisper in the dark, a name spoken only in hushed tones by those who have glimpsed the true horrors of the warp. But to those who know them, who have fought alongside them or witnessed their deeds, they are nothing less than a miracle. They are the Emperor's hand, reaching out to shield humanity from destruction, a force that stands where none other can. Their purity, their strength, and their dedication are unmatched, making them not just warriors, but symbols of what humanity can aspire to, even in its darkest hour. In the grand tapestry of the Warhammer 40K universe, the Grey Knights are a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, there is hope. It is not a hope born of naivety or blind faith, but one forged through sacrifice and unyielding determination. They are the Imperium's greatest secret and its most potent weapon, a force that fights not for recognition or reward, but because it is their duty. Their story is one of unbroken resolve, a beacon of light in a galaxy steeped in shadow. As long as the Grey Knights endure, there remains a chance for the Imperium to stand against the tide of chaos. They are the shield against the darkness, the sword that strikes at the heart of humanity's greatest foes. In their silence, they carry the weight of the Imperium's survival, and in their vigilance, they ensure that the Emperor's dream of a united humanity is not extinguished. For as long as there are gray nights, there is hope, even in the grim darkness of the far future.